Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Scale Smart podcast. I'm your host, Jacob, and also the founder of NetScale Growth. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by the CEO and founder of Aistetic, Duncan McKay. Duncan, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much, Jacob. Great to be here. Great to meet you.
Yeah, so Duncan, before we get into the flow of the podcast, do you mind telling myself and also the audience a little bit more about yourself, your experience, and what you guys specialize in at Aistetic?
Yeah, sure. So very briefly, I'm an innovator. So I've been in innovation for a little while now, and I worked previously at PepsiCo, Unilever, L'Oreal, and I founded Aistetic. So we're an Oxford spinout. We deliver enriched data at scale for the booming secondhand fashion market, essentially to enable any seller to scale faster and more sustainably, leveraging AI.
And tell me a little bit about what led to you actually founding the company, Duncan. What was there for you to kind of take the opportunity to do what you do now?
Yeah, for sure. So actually founded the company on the basis of actually experiencing a lot of problems associated with buying clothing online. So I don't consider myself particularly unique in my shape or size, but I struggled to find items that would fit me after having ordered them online. So I actually lived in Italy for a period of time and I had a tailor. And I thought to myself, look, there's got to be a way that we can, using AI, using Gen AI, replicate the experience that you would have had with a tailor by doing that online. So that was the kind of core of the company. And I founded it with a guy I met actually in Oxford. So a professor whose thing is, his name is Phil Tor. And his thing is, look, he knows computer vision, he knows AI, and we started chatting and we formed the company together from there.
Amazing. And as you mentioned, as an Oxford spin out and Techstars and eBay accelerator graduate, Duncan, AI Aesthetic grew from the university research to a real revenue driving startup. What would you say were some of the biggest challenges you faced and still do face when scaling the company into what it is today?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not without challenges in terms of both on the technology side, but also the customer side. So one of the things which we've had to do is build and research, and to do that kind of at speed, that's challenging, particularly when the technology is evolving quite fast. AI, as we all know, is, everywhere, but is moving very, very quickly. So I would say that would be one challenge which we face. The second is around, I suppose, thinking, adoption. So yes, whilst, AI, Gen AI is being more widely adopted, there is still some concern out there. So concern and reticence to sort of engage with it. And it's probably beyond that. It's not just reticence. It's like, well, how do I use this, right? And how do I do this in a really smart way? Starting first from the problem, right? What's my business problem? And then how do I use a technology or how do I use AI to help deliver the objectives and the change that I want and address the pain point that I can see and I can feel in my business. And that I think is still very much, that's true. That's a challenge today to really work with partners to help realize those objectives at scale and at speed.
And I think that's a really important thing as well for companies is understanding them objectives, sorry, that you've got to kind of meet and being able to find the right customers to meet them objectives. So what processes would you say you've put in place or are putting in place, Duncan, to make sure that the company still scales to these objectives which you've got them hit?
Well, I think in terms of scaling, there's a couple of things. So one is we spend a lot of time with customers around and prospects and partners, right? What are the pains that they're seeing? What really are the challenges that they're facing? And those challenges can be, business orientated, it can be people orientated, and in some instances technology orientated. So starting first from those first principles of what's the pain, and how is that pain tangibly manifesting itself and getting to a level of kind of granularity where we really understand what the problem is. At that point, then we can say, okay, how can we best address it? And it can be the case where you say, well, actually, look, we can't address it, or it doesn't make sense for us to address it. There's actually another solution or another way to solve this problem. That's what we kind of focus on. And then we work on saying, okay, well, and seeing with our solution is scalable. So we design it to be highly configurable, adaptable, but importantly scalable. And that's something which is a core bit of differentiation in our company and how we set up our solutions. So they enable customers to really leverage our solution, but to do so in a way that's consistent with their requirements. So that flexibility is important, particularly at scale when customers want to know, look, this is delivering against this pain point, this problem in a way that they feel comfortable.
100%. And the market for body scanning and fit tech is heating up now. And how do you guys differentiate yourself from the different 3D avatars or fit solution providers out there?
For sure. So actually we do 3D scanning, we do fit, but actually right now we focused, and if you think about within clothing, you have two dimensions. You have kind of people and you have clothing. And actually one of the things that we uncovered was there's some big systemic problems around clothing and digitizing clothing. And actually that's almost where we've focused now, because to solve fit, to solve size, you have to start from the item. And you have to be able to say, well, what are the attributes? What is the actual size? What are the actual measurements of the item of clothing that you're talking about, to then say, okay, was this right for this individual? So our differentiation is essentially around our ability in clothing to enrich data and scale it. So thousands and thousands of items we can effectively process, digitize, and that has a compounding effect for, particularly in secondhand fashion, where we're very focused as of today, of tripling capacity, of cutting workflows and actually improving or accelerating sales throughput. So that kind of area is our core differentiation. As I mentioned a bit earlier, the way we do that is we're an AI company first and foremost. Our solutions are agentic. So we're able to configure, we're able to adapt at scale for our customers, which not all of our competitors are able to do.
And your listing engine also generates titles, tags, descriptions, pricing, etc. In your view, how do you feel AI powered content creation? How do you see it reshaping the e-commerce product catalog over the next few years or so?
Well, I think that's a great question. So I think what we'll see is um, a digitization and a standardization and expectation that everything could be truly digitalized. And the attributes you mentioned, the descriptions, they can be optimized, digitized at scale. And what we'll see is not just that, but that's already huge. It's, thousands of items of clothing, but we'll see that paired with the shopper side, right? Which is the preferences. And that will enable a level of kind of hyper personalization at scale that we just have not seen. So we're just kind of, the things like, you might have bought this that's similar to what you bought previously. That will feel very, very kind of basic, because effectively what we are talking about is a forensic understanding of the products that you buy, the attributes, the color, the preference mirrored with your purchasing behavior and your desires, that uncovers intent in a way that, it's just not prevalent today.
And where do you see the future of the industry heading, Duncan? Obviously, with AI taking such a big kind of, not everyone by surprise, but playing a massive role in companies' operations and scaling companies as well. Where do you see it? Where do you see it going?
So, I mean, we can see, so there's going to be, I suppose, an extreme kind of acceleration in possibilities and possibilities. So for the shopper, ultimately, or the consumer, you or I, when we want to purchase and we want to buy something, what we will be able to do is describe. That could be by, text or chat. As if we're going into a store today, right? You go into your H&M, your Zara, your John Lewis, wherever you are, right? And you might go in and say, look, you have a wander around, and a shop assistant might come up to you and ask you a couple of questions. And that person then directs you and gives you a little bit of advice. And now what will happen in the future in our vision and where we can see this going is that will happen just online, right? And that could be just a voicemail to yourself or to your agent to have a look for what you could be thinking of. That intent, all of that data, that ingestion of what you bought previously would be incorporated into the response. So I think that level of kind of the recommendations that you get and the real recommendations in the sense of really understanding what you like and what you'll buy, what you'll wear, and the tracking will be off the scale. And I think what you'll see is that, particularly in clothing, where you buy an item of clothing, right, and you've you've been through that journey, in future you will see the whole life cycle of that journey through, so that when you buy it, it'll be digitized. You'll keep it in your wardrobe, but you'll have a digital wardrobe as well. You'll sell it on, and that record will continue. And you'll buy and sell in the same vein that, and we see this right now in fashion. Same vein, you buy a car new. You can also buy it secondhand. The market in secondhand is huge in cars, and we'll see a similar growth, and we're seeing it right now in secondhand and clothing. And that digitization is only going to facilitate it further, particularly in second.
And when you were just talking there, I was just thinking of a few things in the fashion which I've seen come up recently. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, Duncan, but the shop River Island, they've just had a massive revamp. And their self-checkout now, you literally pop your item into a little basket and it knows what the item is. And I remember when I first saw that and I was like, how is that possible? But then now you think about it, it's just taking the jobs away from someone being at a till. And you mentioned at the very start about there being a tailor. You had a tailor, and there's a shop near me as well who like tailor suits. And I'm just thinking, like, when would there be a point where there becomes a machine? You just stand in the machine, you do this with your arms, and it knows your exact measurements, your exact size, and it just takes away that person who's going to tailor that suit to you. Like, now I'm thinking about it now, like, the fashion industry has been adapting to like AI and technology constantly evolving. But I feel like there's still some people so far behind in that sense. Like, surely it's not long until someone creates an AI tailor or something like that.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, it's a challenge. We have some technology in that space. We've had a patent in the UK. We're filing actually in Europe and the US. It's coming. One of the areas which is very true, you just referenced, like when you go and you know, have a scan, it's one thing to be able to do that with kind of expensive hardware, but it's another thing to be able to do that kind of at scale without any hardware or without any extensive hardware. But for sure, you're right. I mean, that level of kind of understanding, personalization is coming. And the point you made on dropping your item of clothing in a basket, I mean, that's what's coming. Digital IDs, RFIDs. So picking up, and that's today really, but more will be embedded in each item of clothing,
Yeah.
which will make it more exciting.
Yeah. And I still think though, like that they're still so not far behind. But I remember when I did it, I had like a voucher code, and someone still had to come over to me to fill in the voucher code. And I was like, that just defeats the whole object of the system you've just put in place, because someone still has to come over to me and input the voucher code manually. But I think there'll become a point where that's all, again, you can do that all by yourself, because you can take the tags off by yourself, you drop the item in yourself, you bag it yourself, you scan it yourself, and it's like with the self-checkout in just grocery shops. That's been here for ages. But there's still people on the checkouts because for example, if you buy alcohol, they need to be able to ID you. But I'm sure there'll be some type of technology eventually in the future that will be able to look at your face or look at how old you are and be able to maybe like the wrinkles on your forehead or the wrinkles on your face to be able to identify how old you really are. But I don't know if we'll get to that extreme of the things taking over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's coming. You're right. I think in a lot of respects, particularly in fashion, a lot of these things have been slow on the uptake, and then there are aspects of it, and there's kind of incremental change. Yeah, for sure, you can see these changes are happening. Yeah, and someone will solve those problems.
Yeah. And Duncan, Just lastly, looking into the future now, the next 6 to 12 months or so, what are some of the goals you've got for Aistetic in terms of growing the company, expanding, etc.?
But for us, a key criteria is just delivering more value to more customers. So we're present in the UK, the US, Europe. Those are our core markets right now. So for us, it's really about delivering huge value to partners and customers and to become, one of the leading providers in this space. And it's relatively new. So resale is growing fast, but we want to lead the way and we want to contribute and be a true partner to a lot of these businesses. They're growing very fast, but they face challenges around complexity. And this is where we can really help.
And well, Duncan, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. It's been a great pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks so much, Jacob. Appreciate it. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Bye bye.